Sean Combs demanding an emergency bathroom break in court to the judge. Listen.
That explosive need to go to the bathroom, that tells me that he went into fight or flight. That means he was scared. I wondered, is this the first time in his life P. Diddy is actually scared?
That video was actually sped up.
Don't care, because it can be unsped up for the jury, but thank you for pointing out that argument by the defense. If that's all they've got.
Diddy's team went into full panic mode, and it all started with one woman, Nancy Grace.
Breaking news tonight. Does Diddy need a diaper? Sean Combs begging for an emergency bathroom break in court.
7 months after the allegations first surfaced, the trial finally kicked off. And instead of a strong start, Diddy asked for a bathroom break as his first move in court.
Come on, he took one look at that jury panel and said, I gotta go, and I gotta go right now.
That's when Nancy Grace tore into him live on her show, accusing him of deflection, delay, and worse. Her words didn't just stir the public, they rattled his legal team. So why exactly did her rant hit so hard, and what does it mean for Diddy's defense moving forward? So, Diddy straight up admitted he was a little nervous before his criminal trial kicked off. The hip-hop mogul was facing and racketeering charges, and you could tell he was feeling the pressure as he looked at the potential jurors who would decide his fate. He made the confession to Judge Aaron Subramanian after his legal team asked for a quick bathroom break during the first day of questioning the jurors about their backgrounds.
And jury selection has made Sean Combs a little bit nervous.
At one point, Combs asked for a bathroom break, telling the judge he was a little nervous.
According to People and Reuters, more than 600 potential jurors were screened, while Diddy, rocking a blue blazer and showing a bit of sat through the session. At one point, he asked for a bathroom break, but the judge wasn't having it at first. Then Diddy admitted, "I'm sorry, Your Honor, I'm a little nervous today." And that did the trick. Judge Subramanian gave him a short break. That small moment, just a bathroom break, told the public a lot more than it seemed on the surface. It showed a crack in the carefully polished image Diddy has maintained for years. This is a man who built an entire brand off confidence, power, and being in control. Now, for the first time in decades, he's in a space where none of that matters. It's not a music video set, not a lavish party, not a boardroom where he holds the most influence. It's a courtroom, and that power dynamic doesn't bend to celebrity.
Day 2 of jury selection in his and racketeering case. We're getting a look this morning at some of the questions jurors are being asked.
That moment didn't go unnoticed, especially by longtime legal commentator and former prosecutor Nancy Grace. She was quick to voice what many were already thinking. How can someone with such a long list of alleged offenses, someone who has always projected boldness and fearlessness, suddenly seem so rattled just by being in a courtroom? For Grace, this wasn't about nerves. She interpreted it as pure fear, fear that justice might finally be catching up.
You know, you don't want anybody falling asleep. Why don't you want somebody falling asleep? Because that is grounds for a mistrial.
Nancy Grace has never been shy about going after celebrities she believes have their status, and she's not holding back now. In her commentary, she made it clear that Diddy's behavior in court looked like someone who was genuinely afraid of accountability. She emphasized how strange it was to see someone who has navigated allegations, controversy, and media storms for years now appearing nervous at the very start of a trial.
I don't think it's going to be that easy, because it never is.
She's made a bold point this could be the beginning of the fall for someone who has long walked through legal fire without getting burned. For decades, Diddy has operated in an environment where money, fame, and influence often served as protection. But in a federal courtroom, none of that holds the same weight. Grace is calling for the system to do what it has often failed to do with powerful figures, hold them accountable. And she's putting Diddy right at the center of that demand.
I'm not talking about the petit jury, a derivation of petite or small. The petit jury is the jury of 12 plus alternates. And P.S., I don't think 6 alternates are enough.
Nancy Grace has built her entire brand around one thing: calling out the powerful when the justice system doesn't. A former prosecutor turned television legal analyst, Grace has spent decades diving headfirst into high-profile criminal cases, especially the ones involving celebrities or public figures who seem to operate above the law. She doesn't just cover these stories, she dissects them with a level of intensity that's often unmatched. And when someone like her zeroes in on a case, people take notice.
Do you believe that there is a cover-up regarding Vanessa's death?
Her commentary on the Diddy trial isn't just sensationalism. It actually adds weight to the public's perception of what's really going on. Nancy Grace has followed similar cases for years, whether it was Harvey Weinstein, R. Kelly, or even back in the day with O.J. Simpson. She's known for pointing out the patterns: powerful men, insulated by wealth and fame, who manage to dodge accountability again and again until the system finally catches up, if it ever does.
He is an agent turned producer. You know agents, they'll say anything.
What makes Grace's involvement in Diddy's case so significant is her track record. She doesn't typically waste time on baseless rumors or tabloid gossip. Her focus is on what she sees as the hard facts and the legal implications. When she sees fear or instability in someone's courtroom behavior, she treats it as a sign that things aren't going as smoothly behind the scenes as the defense wants the public to believe. That's exactly what she's doing with Diddy. The bathroom break, the nervous tone, the visibly aged appearance. Grace is connecting the dots and saying what a lot of people are probably thinking, but hesitant to say aloud. Diddy might finally be facing consequences he can't buy or talk his way out of.
Okay, yeah, gross.
Nancy has always been particularly outspoken when celebrities try to use their status to avoid punishment. She's publicly slammed everyone from Lindsay Lohan to Chris Brown, making it clear that she believes fame shouldn't be a shield. Her no-nonsense approach has earned her both fans and critics, but one thing's for sure: when she speaks up, it gets headlines. She taps into public frustration over how the rich and famous seem to live by different rules, and that's exactly why her commentary on Diddy's trial is getting traction.
Breaking news tonight: Diddy done? The star now slammed with brand new claims of and brutality.
By putting her voice behind the idea that Diddy's behavior in court is a red flag, Grace is validating what many already feel. There's something deeper going on. Her involvement raises the stakes. It signals that this isn't just another celebrity scandal that'll blow over in a week. It's being treated like a serious, possibly historic moment in holding a powerful figure accountable. And when Nancy Grace is watching, the spotlight only gets hotter, and she doesn't stop here. Don't tell Nancy Grace that Diddy's jury should cut him a break for mistreating Cassie in the video. She said what you see is exactly the man he is. Nancy appeared on TMZ's new weekly series on Tubi. TMZ presents United States Vice, Sean Combs, Inside the Diddy Trial, along with Harvey, Mark Geragos, Ashley Banfield, and Ebony K. Williams. Ebony suggested the defense will argue Diddy should not be judged by what he did on the worst day of his life. When Nancy heard that, she went ballistic, and everyone else joined in. Nancy suggested the video proves the prosecution's case that Cassie was forced to participate in Diddy's freak-offs, but we know the defense will argue the fight was over a text message Cassie saw on Diddy's phone linking him to another woman.
I don't know about you, but he looks like he's reading to me all that, I'm sorry, technical legal term, BS.
With multiple victims prepared to testify against Mr. Combs and an abundance of physical evidence, veteran crime broadcaster Nancy Grace was asked by the Mail's Kayla Brantley whether the defense had any chance of salvaging a not guilty verdict. There is a way, the former prosecutor told the Mail's The Trial of Diddy podcast. If the victim's credibility was so destroyed that the jury chose not to believe them, the women will be attacked on cross-examination. Their characters will be impugned. The defense will bring forward possible pecuniary or monetary interests that the witnesses may have had. They will attack the victims for not coming forward until Cassie Ventura did. There's going to be a lot of avenues of attack. They'll walk out in tatters. They'll be shredded. Grace stressed, however, that this tactic will not likely have much sway on a jury, given the sheer number of victims willing to take the stand against Mr. Combs. She argued it will be very difficult, if not impossible, for a jury to disbelieve all those women and believe one defendant. The sheer number of victims will be overwhelming. You'll have to choose to believe Sean Combs over all those ladies. That's going to be very hard to do, even if a few witnesses are destroyed on cross-examination. She added that if the defense went on the warpath against witnesses in Combs' high-profile trial, it could have chilling implications for future victims. crimes in Hollywood. The overwhelming majority of sex victims are women. I think now more than ever, women are more likely to come forward, Grace explained. But after the Diddy trial, women are going to see the way these victims are shredded on cross-examination. They'll be destroyed, humiliated, embarrassed, and impeached. Lawyers love to create this chilling effect. I don't know what effect that may have on future victims. The acclaimed broadcaster then appealed for coverage of the trial to focus on the victims, despite the defendant's fame. We hear about Combs every day. It's all about Combs. You know what? It's not about him. It's about his victims. I want this to be about the victims. That's what I want. That's how I perceive it. Now, the public is watching, not just because of the severity of the charges, but because of how drastically Diddy's image is shifting in real time. The courtroom isn't just a legal battleground anymore. It's where his legacy, reputation, and freedom are all on the line. And if his early behavior is any indication, this trial might expose more than just his legal vulnerabilities. It might reveal a level of fear and desperation that no one expected to see from a man who once claimed to be untouchable. And while you might remember when it was being speculated in his early days in jail that he is being paranoid, Diddy's time in the spotlight has taken a dramatic turn, straight to the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. And word is, he's not handling it well. The 54-year-old music mogul, who's facing some serious charges, including ST-ficking and racketeering, is reportedly paranoid to the max. Rumor has it, Diddy's been dodging meals like they're bad beats, afraid that someone might be out to poison him.
And no one would really think anything of it. So that may be one of the reasons he's not eating. There's a possibility that he wants to go on a kosher diet. It's prepared a little bit differently.
The latest tea? According to Larry Levine, a former inmate with insider knowledge, Diddy's stress levels are sky high. He's supposedly refusing to eat at all, fearing that his high profile could make him a target. And while he's under special protection at MDC, it sounds like he's not taking any chances. After all, being in detention isn't exactly like a VIP section at the club, and Diddy seems to be bracing for the worst. Whether it's paranoia or survival instincts, one thing's for sure, life behind bars is nothing like the lavish world he's used to. Imagine if someone paid someone off on the inside to poison his food, give him a heart attack, and he dies, said Levine. He fears internal corruption might endanger Diddy. He added, if somebody got to one of the correctional officers, and this could happen. They don't make a lot of money, and there's people out there that he's got stuff on that do have a lot of money. Diddy's prison nightmare just keeps getting worse. In a recent chat with News Nation's Ashley Banfield, former inmate Larry Levine spilled the tea on Diddy's extreme paranoia behind bars. According to Levine, it's pretty common for new inmates to be wary of the food, and in Diddy's case, it's no different. Apparently, he's refusing to eat, not just out of fear of being poisoned, but because the food itself is, well, nasty. Levine even claims the meals are filled with carbs, sometimes covered in mold, and can make people sick. So maybe Diddy's paranoia has some truth behind it. Who wouldn't be freaked out?
All the mayor people that he brought on here in New York City are all resigning.
While nobody can confirm exactly what Diddy's dealing with at MDC, former inmates have painted a pretty grim picture of the place. It's a world away from the rapper's cushy $35 million, 8,000 square foot Miami mansion, where he's usually surrounded by private security, friends, and family, including his 7 kids, Quincy, Justin, Christian, Chance, twins Delilah and Jesse, and little Love, who's not even 2 yet. One former inmate who spent 3 months there in 2019 didn't sugarcoat it. It's a terrible, horrible place. There's no air movement and the food is basically slop. Diddy, who's worth a cool $600 million, might now be facing the harsh realities of prison life, from regular strip searches to limited showers and barely any contact with his loved ones. Oh, and let's not forget the constant threat of violence. Prison consultant Sam Mangle didn't hold back either, calling parts of MDC pure hell and saying it's probably the worst federal detention center in the country.
So just in terms of the atmosphere there, it's just certainly one that no one wants to be in.
Initially, Diddy was placed on suicide watch, which is no walk in the park. According to a former inmate, those on suicide watch are monitored 24/7. Fluorescent lights never go off, and cameras are constantly watching. You get strip searched every single time you leave your cell, the ex-inmate shared. Prisoners considered a threat to themselves are given rubber shoes, special eating utensils, and even basic hygiene products like toothbrushes need special authorization. It's a far cry from Diddy's usual life of luxury, that's for sure.
Tell me that the experience here for Diddy will be different. Like other first-time celebrity defendants, he's reportedly under suicide watch, basically except for hospital paper, throwaway clothing, and rubber shower shoes.
Moreover, according to a source, Diddy has been taken off suicide watch and moved to protective custody, joining a roster of high-profile inmates. He's now in the same housing unit as convicted cryptocurrency fraudster Sam Bankman-Fried. Notorious names like R. Kelly, Ghislaine Maxwell, and NXDM cult leader Keith Raniere have also done time at MDC. It's for people who either request protective custody or need it, the source explained, meaning S-offenders and major public figures. The 30 or so inmates on this floor get single-man cells, which are even smaller than the regular ones, though there's a 500-square-foot recreation deck for some fresh air. Well, sort of.
He is not the first high-profile inmate to pass through these walls. Ghislaine Maxwell, R. Kelly, Pharma Bro Martin Shkreli, and crypto fraudster Sam Bankman-Fried, all as they waited for their federal criminal trials, called this jail home.
Diddy's current reality behind bars couldn't be further from the life of luxury he flaunted in his raps and on social media, where he had a personal chef, assistants, and staff ready to handle anything he wanted. Now, he's got to stick to a strict schedule for everything: meals, showers only allowed every other day, and laundry. MDC's 1,217 inmates all get a 6 a.m. wake-up call. And the food? Let's just say it's not gourmet. One former inmate dished on the meals. There's chili, shredded chicken with rice, and Wednesday's infamous murder burgers, a thin patty that's basically shoe leather. A typical day's menu: oatmeal and bran flakes for breakfast, a chicken patty sandwich for lunch, and Salisbury steak for dinner. Quite the downgrade from five-star dining.
They have anxiety, they're depressed, a lot of things go through their mind, and one of the things they do is they stop eating.
After a while, inmates can start buying items from the commissary. Think tuna packets for $3.45, condiments and chocolate bars to spice up those bland meals. Everybody tries to hit up the commissary for extra food, says Bill Baroni, an attorney and Seton Hall law professor who knows the system firsthand after serving 3 months in prison. He was wrongfully convicted of conspiracy and wire fraud and now helps others navigate prison life. But here's the catch: when you first get in, you don't get that access right away. So for now, Diddy's stuck with those murder burgers and whatever else is on the basic menu.
There were times when I would go to interview clients, let's say during the course of R. Kelly's trial, I would see him right there speaking with his lawyers, just the same as everyone else was down there speaking with their lawyers and visiting with their family members. There's no special wing.
And amid all this mess, his lawyer team also seems to be scared of the consequences, because constant news of lawyers leaving the case were circulated. Anthony Rico filed a surprise motion to withdraw from counsel with a mysterious statement in New York.
This is a serious proceeding with serious consequences, and all of us are addressing it accordingly.
Rico wrote in his letter to the court, "Although I have provided Sean Combs with the high level of legal representation expected by the court, under no circumstances can I continue to effectively serve as counsel for Sean Combs," per the outlet. The notice added that discussions had been held with lead counsel Mark Agnifilo and Rico prior to the filing of the motion. While I am aware that the local rule requires that an application for withdrawal of counsel is supported and granted only upon a showing by affidavit or otherwise of satisfactory reasons for withdrawal, there are sufficient reasons related to the protections afforded by the attorney-client privilege for brevity in my application for withdrawal as counsel in this case, Rico added. The lawyer further said that his decision to step down would allow Combs' case to move forward. This motion for withdrawal of counsel, if granted, will not result in a delay of the present schedule for the commencement of jury selection and trial or the present schedules for briefing of pre-trial legal issues, Rico wrote, per Lad Bible. But most recently, one lawyer in the courtroom gained some attention as jury selection began previous week. High-profile attorney Mark Geragos, who has represented numerous celebrities including Michael Jackson, Chris Brown, Jussie Smollett, as well as the Menendez brothers in their effort to be released from prison, has been present in the courtroom since Monday.
This really kind of points out one of the fallacies, if you will, of kind of the DA's office.
Mark Geragos' daughter, Taney Geragos, is the second chair for the defense in the trial. But her father's appearance in court on Monday, when the trial began, drew the attention of prosecutors, who raised his presence in a written letter to the judge.
And of course, Mark Geragos is an incredible lawyer, but as usual, he's into it up to here.
Prosecutors said the defense team appeared to consult with Mark Geragos, which suggested that he has an apparent role as an advisor to the defendant. co-defendant. Prosecutors noted he has spoken publicly about the case, and if he is working with Combs, he should have to abide by the same rules as other attorneys and not speak about the allegations. "I'm here to support my daughter. Combs is a friend," the elder Garagos told CNN on Tuesday. When asked if he was advising the embattled music mogul's legal team, he said he is not entering the case. Last month, Combs hired Atlanta criminal defense attorney Brian Steele, who represented rapper Young Thug in his criminal racketeering trial. Another Atlanta attorney who represented a co-defendant in the same trial, Nicole Westmoreland, also joined the legal team. 2 days before jury selection began, on Friday, Combs added New York defense lawyer Xavier Donaldson. Donaldson appeared at several pretrial conferences and sat in the galley before he officially joined the legal team. The judge did not address Mark Garagos' role or the prosecution's letter in open court. However, in a private discussion in the robbing room, according to a transcript, the judge challenged him for comments he made on a podcast when he referred to the all-female prosecution team as a six-pack of white women. Combs' team previously filed a motion suggesting one of the charges against him was racially motivated. Mark Garagos defended his remarks to the judge, saying, "I think when you've got a black man who's being prosecuted and the client feels like he's being targeted, it's an observation." He said he was referring to Combs as a client because he has represented him and he hasn't terminated me. The judge said to Mark Garagos, "I think referring to the prosecution in this case as a six-pack of white women is outrageous." All right, and I understand what you're saying about the cases and everything else, but I think this is outrageous, and this would not be tolerated in any court from any lawyer anywhere across the nation. And I'm going to be watching and I'm going to be listening. All right? Mark Garagos said he understood, but claimed the prejudgment rate of guilt for Combs was at the same level as infamous murder cases he's been involved in. Now, all these things do make sense that Diddy is scared of everything right now. And for Nancy's part, Nancy Grace isn't just covering the Diddy trial, she's furious about it. Her anger isn't performative or for the sake of headlines. It's rooted in years of watching high-powered men duck accountability while their victims are silenced or ignored. And now, seeing Diddy, someone with enormous cultural influence, decades of wealth, and a long list of disturbing allegations, finally sitting in a courtroom looking nervous and vulnerable, for Nancy Grace, that's not enough, not even close.
Subramanian is not putting up with that technical legal term BS.
She's angry because in her eyes, this trial shouldn't have taken this long. For years, Diddy has moved through the industry as an untouchable figure, brushing off lawsuits, whisper campaigns, and allegations like they were background noise. But the nature of the charges this time, racketeering, are not just career-ending. They point to something much darker, a possible network of abuse and power manipulation. And Grace is livid that it took this level of horror for the justice system to finally take him seriously. In Grace's eyes, this is bigger than one man. It's about decades of power being used to suppress truth, and she's not sitting quietly while it plays out. She's angry, she's vocal, and she's determined to make sure this case doesn't quietly disappear into the pile of almosts. Not this time. That's it for today. See you in the next video. Until then, goodbye.